What's going on, YouTube? This is Final Boss back again. We just ended the season and we placed at 129. We got a 5,116. We decided to end the season. We were up and down about 300 trophy swing. It got pretty grimy on the last day. So I just kind of wanted to go through progressions. Last season we finished 109. This season seemed to get a little bit harder. A lot of people are getting back up there. But we weren't grinding the whole season towards the end, so we had a lot of catching up to do. So we got up to 5K pretty easy. 4,900 was a breeze, and then it got a little grimy grinding up into the 5K, and then 5,000 to 5,100 was quite a grind. So anyway, I wanted to really go through the progressions here of a lot of the different decks. So I made all three of the decks and the progressions of everything that made. Last season we used this deck. A really fast cycle. You were able to push two different lanes. It was just defend, defend, defend. Same concept. Now the rest of the season, everybody had kind of changed and adapted, made another version that everybody was using up in the top, or this was the most popular hog deck. They're using guards, so they were countering our deck, which was the deck that me and Rebel had made based off of the Mekon deck. And the Mekon deck was using Princess instead of Inferno, so we added some defense to make it a little bit easier to use against the giant decks. Make it a little bit, I mean, it was a little bit, I really like the Mekon deck, but the Inferno, it just rocks. You know, you just play keep away with the giant, you drop down there. I even added a log in there instead of zap. Lots of different things you can do. You can even add in a miner instead of the hog there, and then it's a miner control type deck. Same concepts, but it's just a little bit harder to do with the miner because the miner just does chip, 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 and you drop down a poison. Now this season it's progressed. Instead of the guards, it's changed over from the guards to barbs. So that's kind of the progression. It would start off with, our version of the Mekon, and then we used this with the Inferno, and then they changed that variety over to that, and this is just the winning deck. This is the top tier hog deck. This is killing the meta giant decks, even the bowlers. The bowlers, the bowlers are pretty spongy. They can take a little bit of a damage, but they really are pretty easy to kill, especially if you take just maybe one or two shots with the rock and then just do a counter push. So not a biggie. So we're just going to go on ahead and get into it. We're going to go on ahead and look at our replays. We're just going to go into an epic win against Will Win, and we're going to go on ahead and break that gameplay down. This deck is still same essentially as the other decks. It's pump, defend, and going on over. So I mean, whenever you get the 1 elixir skeletons, you have a pump. You just want to get the pump down. So we went ahead and we waited the 10 elixir. We went ahead and got that one down. I was thinking about putting the hog and going ahead and pressure him, but I know that Will's a good player. Figured he was running hog because that's really all that Will plays. So we dropped the barbs up in the very, very top to try to minimize the hits, and you can actually stop the hog dead in its tracks if you drop them on the bridge. Same goes with the mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A. has this crazy, weird, long breach. So we went ahead and had our barbs down, and now this is the concept of the whole entire battle. You want to get the barbs out in front of the hogs, and instead of, we thought we would be able to throw them off because since the barbs would be locked on, it was not, and Will's now got a hefty push on a counter push coming back. So he was able to get a few hammers coming in from the hog. The bacon got, 2 hits there, and now our barbs are coming down. Figured we had him pretty good on the elixir, went ahead and pumped. And Will's the type of player that normally waits till about 10 elixir for him to pump. We'll see if he pumps. I can't remember if he pumps. But I've watched some of his replays before, and him being an ex-clan member, yeah, see, clan member. He went ahead and pumped. He wanted to make sure that he had enough for the Inferno, and that's what he was able to do. He went ahead and hit the zap, and that was a really smart zap. Our 1 elixir skeletons got there, and then they retargeted onto the 1 elixir skeletons. So you kind of want to wait for them to kind of get right up on the Inferno, then you zap, then it retargets. Now this doesn't always happen. I feel like the Inferno always just picks the hog out of the crowd and goes on ahead and attacks. Will goes on ahead and sends a naked hog on down, and we were able to slow him down right there, but he really wanted to get the Inferno. He really wanted to get the poison down on our pump since he only has 1 pump down and wanted to minimize the elixir advantage. So this is the gist of the push here. You want to get those meaty barbs down there in front, get them on down, and he's going to get the ice spirit in, and it was kind of a it wasn't that great of a push. But at this point, we're still in the lead here. So now we went on ahead, and we knew that he just expelled a lot of elixir. We poisoned all that, and now we're going to get a couple more hits in here with the hog. I'll tell you what, on a max hog, if you can get 2 hits in, man, that's a great push. I mean, you're not trying to win the game in one push, especially against a one player. It's just a poke, 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 and just get it in there. You know, in order for me to really take his tower down in one push, he'd have to like do something severely messed up to do that, especially in the mirror deck challenge. So we were able to defend his attack with the Inferno, and as you guys can see, man, just barbs, and the Inferno, it's just really meaty. Unfortunately, the barb didn't get countered there. He ice speared us, and we're going to be able to take that down. We were just praying for a hit there. We were not able to do that, and at this point right now, we're like, okay, well, we can knock him out with probably like 2 zaps and 2 poisons. We were able to squeeze our bars in there in the last second. We were able to get our Ice Spirit on there, and he's only going to get, oh, he got 2 hits in there. That's not good. I thought he was only going to be able to get 1, but he squeezed out 2. So now he's got his Barbs and the Ice Spirit. He was able to get down his Inferno, stop our attack. Now we have a fresh new Inferno down. Our Ice Spirit's coming in hot, and unfortunately, our Ice Spirits do weird stuff sometimes. So we went ahead and put our Barbs into the poison. It really doesn't matter. We don't really. The Barbs are not meant for offense. So we know with the poison and zap there, all we have to do right now is just defend. Make sure that Will doesn't get to our tower, and be able to hold him off here and not let him get it. So, you know, his hog got through there, which was amazing, and we were able to really pull one out there at the end. If you, as you can see there, he was just, that hog was about to hit again, but you know, poison zap, and now that tower was roasted. We were just waiting to cycle and play good defense there. So yeah, so that's a great way to go there. I mean, and the giant decks are getting wrecked by this. We can go on ahead and get into the most meta deck there is, the one that everybody is using currently. We'll go on ahead and take a look at this one and break this one down as well. Elu Mr. Pro, looks like a Chinese clan with the Lotus. I like the Lotus. It's a pretty cool pick. Alright, so, you know, you're always lucky whenever you can start off with a pump. I always consider it a bad start whenever you can, you don't have a poison up and you don't have a pump up and they're pumping in front of your face. But, you know, at that point, you know, you choose to be either aggressive, but sometimes that doesn't pay off, especially when you send a hog down and just poison everything. You know, I've lost some towers off of doing that. You can't be greedy and expecting to win all in one push right off the back, because typically, especially in a deck like this, they're going to counter with, say like a Prince, and if it's still alive, they're going to slap a big giant down, and you're not going to have any elixir to go in there, because you already spelled like, what, 9 elixir, and you know, your barbs are just not going to be able to handle that whole entire push, and you've already used your Ice Spirit, so you got to be careful with your Ice Spirit. He did have a weaker Mega Minion, so we thank him for bringing that in. But the Mega Minion is a really great card. It's a great defensive card. It's able to shut a lot of stuff down, and it gets through the poison. Since everybody's using poison, you know, it doesn't die immediately like the 3 elixir ones. But the 3 elixir ones are still a great card. They're really good on offense, especially with the hog, like the Guanek deck, or you know, which is he doesn't even use any defense. His defense is the freeze. Still a great deck. We slowed him down so we could cycle down to our 1 elixir skeleton. We are going to take a little bit of damage here, but we did take his tower. Now we got our pump going on. It would have been nice if we could have gotten our poison here. That would have been an ideal poison. But you know what? We're just trying not to die here, and we're going to have our barbs up here in a second. We're going to be able to put a heart on a little bit. We're going to put our Ice Spirit down. We did sacrifice that there, but if that Ice Spirit got onto those barbs, and the Mega Minion was going to be able to run freely there, we would have lost the tower. So at this point, we're just waiting to go on ahead and pump. So the idea in all of this is just wait for an opportune time to be able to attack. He just put both of his elixir are together. So you know, I was thinking about poisoning there, but he does have a big push, and we know that a giant's coming. We do have the game already in the bag, so there's no point in going ahead and being super greedy here. It's okay to be, it's okay to be a pig, but hogs get slaughtered. So yeah, we have the win. Just play defense, once you take a tower, take it down, and then, you know, eventually shove a little hog over there just to keep him honest, keep him going. So yeah, it's, you know, that's we'll throw down a little BM elixir pump, but that's at the same time it's distracting on the other side, and our barbs are able to get a piece of that. So yeah, as you can see, the meta giant got shut down. He was able to do a little bit of damage. A good portion of that is also from the poison. But you know, hey, if you don't have the Inferno up, the barbs are going to work, and so now you've got the double defense combination there. We did play Dewey with a trifecta, which is not a lot of people are actually using trifecta. Let's go to a minor deck. The minor control deck. This is one of the best minor decks that's out there. It's just super defensive. And you know, with a deck like this, using the barbs, you know, as like kind of your push that's going to be in front of the Inferno, you're going to be like asking yourself like, hey man, how are you going to get through that? How are you going to be able to get through that? And here's the thing: the struggle with this deck also is with the minors. Sometimes you find yourself in weird situations where you want to defend with the barbs, and you knowing that he has poison, he's going to get extreme value, like he did right there. But we were still trying to protect our pump and make him use. He did use 7, and we just blew 10. So he does have a positive elixir, plus he has a pump. So we went on ahead, and he's going to go on ahead and do that. We were going to go on ahead and take his because he did spend a lot of elixir as well. And we're going to go on ahead and poison. Now he pumps up in her face. It's kind of like nanner nanner boo boo. We're going to get a pump down, and you can't because I got a minor poison. And the concept with this deck is just to get, you know, defend, and then you send your minor down and poison. And that's it. I mean, it's annoying. And everything else. But with a lot of these decks, see, that's just what he did right there. And a lot of these decks that these are on there, I mean, look, let's just take a look. We had a full health. It was 3668. Where's that going to end up? That poison did about 300 damage. So yeah, that minor did about what? So almost 600. Was it 600 damage? About 600 and something damage there. It's not bad. Minor's a really weak card, but look what our hog did. So, you know, he has to really be on the defense here. We were able to split up the push because of the barbarians and everything coming that way. And he's thinking that, hey, we're going to do this. So if you see our bowler on that side, that's when you push the other lane. That's with anything, all the attacks. And that's one of the best tips I can actually give you. If you're seeing that side of that they're pushing on, you want to break up their push. You don't want these giants to get one push all on one side. So if he wants to go on ahead and chip out that side, then guess what? We're going to go on ahead and attack on that side. Now the barbs pig pushed, so it didn't really matter. And that was an excellent play, and that's another reason why you play that. You play, you put the barbs on there, and then you put the hog onto the left tile next to him. And at this rate, the miner is just really not strong enough. Everyone's like, he's overpowered. He doesn't. I mean, he's got a lot of health points, but he doesn't have a lot. That was a little on the silly side of me, but we're going to go on ahead and split it up just in case that we were able to not be able to get the tower here. He's going to go on ahead and drop his poison. That's not going to be enough to take down that tower, especially with some guards. That's why this is, it's very weak, but it's very defensive. You know, I'd even say that deck, the minor control deck with the barbs, is even better defensive deck than this one. But there's not a lot of offense. This deck is very balanced, and it's able to get a very good offensive push in, and it's also able to have great defense because of the cycle. Let me go on ahead and point out some similarities in how you're going to make a cycle deck. The key ingredients to all these decks are these 4 cards. Now you can insert whatever other 2 power cards you want to get in here, but nothing better than a hog. Hog is definitely hands down one of my favorite cards. Ice Spirit is probably my favorite card in general. I just absolutely love the Ice Spirit. For 1 elixir, he's going to be great. Can't wait for the Ice Golem. It's going to be very awesome to see what it's going to do. So really, I mean, everything else is just cheap, and then we have the hog. I mean, that is the basic concept. 3.4, 3.3, and a 3.1. So yeah, I believe we're going to have one more time. We're going to have a little bit more time. Let's go on ahead and look through here and to see. All right, let's go on ahead and go through this one. You're like, hey man, this deck is very easy to beat the Giants. it's also important to be able to beat the hogs. So whenever you're making a deck, it seems like it's it's kind of crazy sometimes to be able to beat both, because some of them are like, hey, well, you know, and I'm sitting there trying different decks out, and I'm like, okay, should I put the cannon in, and then I put it in the cannon, and I'm like, because all I was facing was miner and hog decks, and then I put the cannon in, and then it's nothing but giant decks. So you know, it's the Inferno is strong and steady. I mean, the cannons will win you the decks. It will win you games easy. But yeah, it's not good for it's not good for the Giants 100% of the time. That Prince is just completely overpowered. People were like, well, you know, I can stop it in the friendlies or the challenges. Well, I think it's a little bit different when you have a max one. I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit extra meatier in the max versions versus the other ones. It just seems like he has a little bit more power. I'm not sure all about all that. So yeah, we were able to. He got one hit in there. We're still up in the we're still up on tower damage, and we got a little aggressive there with our pump. We didn't have a lot of elixir, and he went ahead and pumped as well. Didn't know where he really stood on elixir. I thought that it was probably a little bit better, I think, at this key point in time. But here comes, when you see the guards in an Ice Spirit, you're going to see a hog coming behind it. It's kind of like the same concept. Now, that was a very bad Inferno placement. As you can see, it was on the left side of the King Tower. You want the Inferno on the right side of the King Tower. Sometimes I even put it in a little bit closer, especially for Lava Hound. For Lava Hound, its range is a little bit tinier, so you want to actually almost put it really close to your Crown Tower. Alright, so now we have the elixir advantage. We are down at this point, and we have about the same amount of elixir. Here comes his cheap cards. Thought that he was going to push. We put our Inferno down. And at that point, we're going to be able to get a little Hulk Hogan onto the tower. We're going to get a little damage in there. We're going to stop his hog dead in his tracks. Going ahead and poison down the Inferno. He's going to go on ahead and pump since he saw our poison go down. So at this point, we're thinking, yeah, he's going to try to poison this out. That is not going to work, not today. And we're going to go ahead and put our barbs down. So now they're already over there on his side, and that was just a sweet move. We caught him on a mistake. We had the meaty barbs in front, and even so, we were able to take that down. With 15 seconds left, he's not going to be able to squeeze out another poison. It just doesn't, I mean, even this deck's, well, I guess yeah, he's going to get to his poison, even with 2 elixir troops, but those guards were just not as cheap. So yeah. Anyway, that was a great game, great example. The hogs still rule the land, everybody, and you know, that's my favorite deck. I got kind of crazy during the end of the season, started switching decks up. Even talking to one of my clanmates, Rebel, and he was like, you know, boss, he's like, I'm not gonna. It's too late in the season for me to change up my deck, and I was like, well, what do you mean, dude? And he's like, well, I was like, what do you mean it's too late to change in the season? I was like, just change out your barbs for guards. So he was sitting there going up and down, tilting, and then he was able to switch to this barbarian deck, which is not that big of a difference, but you know, it plays different. It does play different than the guards. Even switching up one card when you're used to playing this one, especially when me and him used to play this deck all the time. He was just like, hey man, I can't play that deck. I was like, I just don't want to switch up the barbs. Man, he switched up and barbs, and we'll go on ahead and spotlight his account real quick. And as level 12, my man was able to get the 5,022 trophies. Absolutely killing it. Great dude, great player. But that was the difference maker. He was at 4,800 at that time. We stayed on the phone together. He was able to get the 5,000 trophies as level 12. So, I mean, great deck. Try it out. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any deck examples, let me know what you got. Drop them in the comments. As always, go on ahead and drop me a sub. A thumbs up if you liked and enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.